Seeing Yesterday for me is an absolute joy to watch. There are tons of sad, depressing moments in this anime, but those all have bittersweet silver linings to them. You probably skipped over this show in 2020 because, well, a huge virus attacked the entire globe, so the brief summation is that this guy, Rikuo Uozumi, has a crush on his college friend. She moves back to the city in order to teach. He ends up confessing to her, but she rejects him. It's a truly heartbreaking backstory. However, this girl, Haru Nonaka, begins to stalk him. She winds up telling him that she has been in love with him for 5 years, even though they met for like 30 seconds one day. This is probably the most realistic love story that I've ever seen. Seeing Yesterday for me is a truly amazing anime. The characters are written with a genuine touch of humanity, and each one has a distinct and understandable personality. Take Shinako Morinome, for example. She is the main character's crush who rejects him, right? Well, did you know that she was in love with a childhood friend who died from heart problems? She never had a single relationship in her life because of that trauma. She is still in love with him even though it's been 6 years after his death. She wants to remain friends with Uozumi, but she knows how much it hurts him for her to stick around after the rejection. Man, I feel this in my own life too. Sometimes I am the person who rejects the friend, and it just breaks my heart because I know they're still a good person. Like, I don't dislike them. However, most of the time it's me getting my heart broken. It's so satisfying to see an anime portray love in a non-idealized way, where no one is in a relationship, but everyone is getting hurt because of feelings. That's where the main focus of this story comes into play. We're entering spoiler territory since I have to talk about what happens in order to analyze it. The cute stalker girl Haru tries her best to persuade Rikuo into liking her, but nothing works. She never truly gives up, and I have to say that she is incredibly persistent. She saw him with multiple girls over the course of these 12 episodes, but she continued to love him. It's very relatable since I too had an unrequited love for years, but I gave up on mine. Life is strange, right? If she would have moved on, she probably could have found someone just as good or even better, but she felt that indescribable connection to Rikuo. Is it wrong to pine over someone who doesn't want you? Yeah, probably, but does everyone in the world do it at least once in their life? Yes, 100%. Haru's bright and cheery personality delivered a much needed boost of optimism to the series, considering what happened with Rikuo and Shinako. Shinako was crushed over her childhood crush's death, and while she never moved on, she still led Rikuo on for the time they spent as a couple in the show. They tried to become something more than friends, and at first, I did not understand why these two could not just simply be a full-fledged boyfriend and girlfriend pair. It seemed like they were just right for each other, but there was some sort of spark lacking. I can be honest and say that I have been there before. It looks like this girl and I would be perfect together, but when it happens, something is just off. Shinako ultimately ends up with nobody, and so I wonder how she feels about going on with no significant other. That must hurt when she does eventually want to find love again, even though it could be a long time. I was hesitant at liking the ending, but I did relent to enjoying Rikuo and Haru confessing their love to one another. That was the right call on the author's part because we saw that Haru was the only one who truly understood Rikuo. She was telling Shinako, who had known him for years, stuff that she never even realized was true about him. Haru went on and on about Rikuo's true personality, but we also saw her pushed to the background of this story. From episode 6 to episode 10, we really didn't see much of Haru, and it was disappointing. However, we had to fully understand why Shinako and Rikuo would have never worked out. He did like her, but he never loved her. He admitted that he couldn't say, "I love you." It must have been a different kind of feeling than love. Maybe a particular love for someone who takes care of you, because Shinako always had to watch out for him during his college years. The two finally talked it out and came to the conclusion that neither of them really wanted that relationship. The author really tricked me because I was sure she was going to write Shinako and Rikuo into being together forever, but she pulled the switch at the very last second, literally the last episode. This anime was beautiful. There was no fan service, no weird stuff at all. You could show this anime to anyone, pretty much. It did drag on a little towards the middle, but you have to give romance anime time to fully develop. Also, many different anime have done way less with 12 episodes, so I have to give the pacing on this anime a very high score. Oh yeah, and the manga was written all the way back in 1997, and it just got animated in 2020. Can you believe it took 23 years to get an adaptation? That's crazy. Seeing Yesterday for me was a brilliant watch experience, and I thoroughly enjoyed the entire anime. It got wrapped up in a neat little bow, which you guys know I love that. This was an anime with with great characters, a realistic story, and insightful dialogue.